Good morning. This is the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for this Thursday, July 26th. On the impact map, today's significant impacts, not just the continuous isolated to scattered thunderstorms across the south, much of which will have some wetting rains, but it's a mixed in of drier lightning with the wetting rains across parts of northeast Nevada, far northwest Utah into south central Idaho, and even a little bit further up into the higher terrain of central and eastern Idaho that we have our primary concerns. Some of these areas where they have lightning in the yellow could see new ignitions and they could grow. Concern on Friday is stronger winds downsloping off the mountains out of the west-northwest, off the higher terrain into the upper Snake River Plain. And I'll be over areas that do get some lightning in the next 24 hours and areas that have had lightning recently. Otherwise, thunderstorms continue across southern eastern areas but shrink each consecutive day. You can see on the right-hand side we had another round of decent lightning across the area. The most critical lightning, probably the driest or best mix of dry with the wet, is here across the Nevada-Idaho border, crossing into northwestern Utah, otherwise mostly wetter to the south, but still some starts. And you can see the activities picking up now. New fire starts in the red, and you can see through here across far northern Utah into parts of northern Nevada. This is where our most activity was, but we've had some more activity in the drier areas of Idaho, and even picking up some in the higher terrain of central Nevada. And more disturbingly, in the south, areas have been drying out there recently. Some could be holdovers, some could be from recent lightning. If we look at precipitation over the past 7 days, notice how much drier we've gotten across some of our southern areas. Very little in the way of rainfall, maybe just 1/100th of an inch or so, totally bone dry for the most part up in Idaho, especially the higher terrain. Our wettest area is actually across the higher terrain of central Nevada. Stark contrast to the deeper monsoonal moisture and the heavy rains we had across southern areas in the last 30 days. But really it's this on the left-hand side, the last 7 days of dryness, not just in the north, but also drying out a bit in the south, that's leading to the increased activity. ERC map, even though we're mostly green here in the south, you notice more yellows popping up. We haven't seen those in such quantity in over a month. And we continue to dry out across northern Utah, 80th to 90th percentile, also drying out in northern Nevada along the Idaho border. But it is in Idaho that we're seeing the most rapid drying of our fuels. Many areas approaching the 90th percentile, even some spots towards the 97th percentile or above. A lot of these greens and yellows here in eastern Idaho will be going to orange, and we'll also be monitoring western Wyoming. They'll be in a drying trend as well. Look at some specifics where we could see some of the lightning today here in our PSA GB07, the southern sawtooth. You can see the ERCs are well above normal, drier than normal, and not too far away from record levels, but it is in the higher terrain of central Idaho. Up here in GB05 into the sawtooth, you can see them just touching near record level dryness and just under record level dryness, well drier than normal up across the Payette. So yes, things are changing, and I'm concerned about fires up there as well. Satellite imagery shows again the large persistent high that was normally known as a Four Corners high has now shifted into I guess the center would be across parts of southern California. So a lot of that moisture from the monsoon, instead of surging up into the Great Basin, is plowing through Mexico and Baja and wrapping back into California, much less concentrated. That's why we're getting drying and pockets of clear sky across southern Utah, the Arizona Strip. It's where they're getting some initial attack and staying in this pattern bone dry across Idaho, and even a bit more wind with the tighter packing of these height lines through here and this little disturbance dropping out of British Columbia. So for today, two things on the left. In the areas of green, we do expect to see thunderstorms scattered to isolated breaking out. The deeper green here across central and southern areas of Nevada and Utah will be on the wetter side. It's this heart-shaped ghost shade here, which has just enough moisture for some isolated scattered thunderstorms, not enough moisture to get torrential downpours reaching the ground in high quantity. For that reason, we have high risk for portions of northeastern Nevada into far south central Idaho, also high risk for adjacent areas of the Pacific Northwest and southern Oregon. And here's a precipitation map. You can see where some of that precipitation is expected to occur. Winds, not that significant, except a little breezy, maybe 15 to 25 miles per hour across parts of the Snake River Plain. On Friday, notice we have high risk for wind in these areas through here. It looks like the winds could be a little bit stronger, a lot more brown on the map. We're getting critically dry and a lot more yellow in southern areas. On the map here, again, high pressure over Vegas is the center as opposed to the Four Corners. So keeping monsoonal moisture kind of more isolated in the deeper area further to the south. We are seeing a little disturbance coming by. Kind of hard to see here, but if we go to the winds, notice a bit this orange coming through here. There could be some good downsloping west-northwest winds, gusting to over 30 miles per hour, humidity below 15%. This could be critical because there could be some lightning going on in these areas. Again, the model here on the left does show some isolated lightning chances still in parts of the Great Basin through here. We'll have to monitor that. On Saturday, high pressure still in place and still these little drops of moisture, so central and southern Utah down to the Arizona Strip. Thunderstorm chances could continue, but should be drier to the north. Dryness levels, again, showing that drying on the right-hand side. Weather, wind still kind of breezy here in the north, not quite as windy as it would be on Friday, but notice winds picking up out of the southwest through here across southern Nevada and southern Utah and the Arizona Strip. On Saturday, also downsloping kind of off the Uintas and off the Wasatch into the Uinta Basin. I'll have to watch that as well. Precipitation totals the next 3 days, not that much reaching the ground on the large scale, according to the Hydrometeorological Prediction Center. Some of our smaller scale models do show some precipitation light a bit further north. As we continue down the road, for Sunday, high pressure still in place, most of the moisture to the south. We'll continue with the drying. On Monday, maybe some isolated thunderstorms popping up across northern Nevada, southwest Idaho. Some monsoonal moisture getting a little bit better organized, poised to perhaps move into far southern Nevada. And it looks like Tuesday is the next surge of moisture and thunderstorms. I'll have to watch this as it moves up the Nevada-Utah border into southern Idaho. This could be critical as we get some good drying just ahead of it. And then on Wednesday, this will be August 1st, we should see maybe more widespread thunderstorms and moisture returning to our southern areas. Bone dry in the north and also stronger winds in the north. We'll have to watch this as well, this tongue of drier air across our more critical fuel areas now, the higher terrain of central Idaho. See how dry we are in all areas. 7-day precipitation totals, not too much. And the long-range 8 to 14-day outlook, taking us from August 6th through the 8th, shows a warmer than normal signal, especially for southern and central areas, and more significantly, drier than normal across Idaho and through most of the Great Basin. So again, we do expect activity to start picking up and maybe really intensifying in some of our northern areas of Idaho and possibly even into western Wyoming. This concludes our briefing. Have a great day.